The proclamation of the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to his disciples, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you always, the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot accept, because it neither sees nor knows him. But you know him, because he remains with you and will be in you. I will not leave you orphans. I will come to you. In a little while, the world will no longer see me, but you will see me, because I live, and you will live. On that day, you will realize that I am in the Father, and you are in me, and I in you. Whoever has my commandments and observes them is the one who loves me, and whoever loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and reveal myself to him." The Gospel of the Lord.
Our Gospel passage for this Sunday comes from the 14th chapter of St. John. It is part of the rather long farewell discourse of Jesus. And through this reading, we are already being prepared for the solemnities of the ascension of Jesus to heaven and the outpouring of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost. So in this farewell speech of Jesus, we find a lot of lessons in the theme that we have been developing, internalizing our faith. In the first reading, we see how the apostles Peter and John and Philip, a member of the 7 ministers, how they have internalized their faith in Jesus through the outpouring of the Spirit, transforming them into missionaries with zeal, even going beyond the confines of their friendly world among the Jews to reach Samaria, being missioners from the heart. In the second reading from the first letter of Peter, we are told to venerate Christ in our hearts, and those who venerate Christ from within, who adore Christ in their hearts and who have committed themselves in their hearts to Jesus, they will be able to face persecution and keep their respect towards their executioners and be bold in giving an account for their hope, but doing this gently, respectfully, with a clear conscience, and being able to bear suffering for something good and not for evil. So we see in the first 2 readings, the effects, the fruits of faith that has been internalized. Now, in the Gospel for today, Jesus gives us some indications as to how we can internalize our faith. Let us start our reflection with the beautiful words of Jesus. "I will not leave you orphaned. I will not leave you alone. I will come back to you. I will come back to you." So Jesus was saying goodbye as he faces his death. And he already promised he will come back. He will come back to them as the risen one. He will not remain in the place of the dead. He will come back to his disciples as the one who is risen. And we know he fulfilled this. He really came back to his friends as the risen one. He showed them the marks of his wounds. It is truly Jesus. He has come back. And so the words of Jesus in today's gospel are fulfilled in the appearance of the risen Lord. He says, "A little while now, and the world will see me no more. But you see me as one who has life, and you will have life." He returns to his disciples as one who has life, and not just ordinary life, life in God. What St. Peter in the second reading calls, he has been restored to life in the realm of the Spirit. The risen one did not return to ordinary human life as we know it. He returns as the one who bears the life of God. And you will see me. And seeing Jesus alive with the life of God, you will have life. The life of Jesus in God will be shared with us. My dear brothers and sisters, let us internalize this. Seeing Jesus, the living one, He shares with us His life. The life that we are living now from the risen Lord is not just our earthly life, but we are already given a share in the life of God because He comes to us, because He makes us see Him, and seeing Him, He gives us His life. He shares His life with us. But there is a challenge. Seeing Him and receiving His life, we should live like Him, living in love. He who obeys the commandments He has from me is the one who loves me. And the one who loves me will be loved by my Father. I too will love him and reveal myself to him. So how do we see Jesus? How do we welcome His life? By love. By loving Jesus, we get to know Him more. And in loving Jesus, He reveals Himself to us more and more. Oh, dear brothers and sisters, let us internalize this. We will never be orphaned because Jesus will come to us, and He comes to share His life. And how do we respond to this sharing of life? By love. That is our response. In loving Him, we share in His life. In loving Him, He reveals Himself more to us. And what is the life of Christ? Love. So those of you who feel alone, oh please, this is the time to ask myself, why do I feel alone? Why do I feel orphaned? Do I not see the Lord coming to me? If I don't see the Lord coming to me, maybe I lack love. For people who love, they see the Lord coming to them. And when you are in love, you are fully alive. You are fully alive. Look at people who are in love. Oh, they are full of life. They're bubbly. Oh, but those who lack love and do not know how to love, they may be alive physically, biologically, but they're really dead. They don't see anyone. They don't see Jesus in their lives because they don't love. How do we open our eyes to see the Lord? By loving. And when we are in love, we are fully alive. Then you don't feel orphaned. You don't feel alone. Para po sa mga nangungulila, nako, some people ask us, Bishop, Father, don't you feel lonely? You are alone? Oh, how can you feel lonely when you are in love? When you love the church, when you love Jesus, and when you are in love, your eyes are always open to the Lord who comes to you. And when you see the Lord, you are alive because He shares His life with you. Now, there is another way by which Jesus does not leave us orphaned. He says, the Father will send you a paraclete, the Spirit of truth, who will be with you for all time. So this is another gift. Jesus will not only come to us, Jesus will send the Holy Spirit of truth to be with us. And we know that the Spirit of truth will lead us deeper into the teachings of Christ, so that through the guidance of the Holy Spirit, we become more and more attached to Jesus. The Spirit of truth will guarantee that we will be with Jesus all the time, that we will hear Jesus, that we will see Jesus coming to us, and that we will love Jesus. So the Spirit of truth in us, within us, as promised by Jesus, is the spirit of internalization of our relationship with Jesus in faith. So dear brothers and sisters, especially here in our country, the Philippines, we have lots and lots of external observances, our devotions, our processions, they're all good. But one thing that we should develop, internalize our faith by being open to the Holy Spirit of truth, who leads us to Jesus, to see Jesus, who comes to us. The Spirit that will enable us to love, so that by being great lovers of Jesus and of humanity, of neighbors, even those who are hostile to us, we will see Jesus all the more, especially in our neighbors. Oh, how I wish our hearts would be temples of venerating Jesus through the Spirit of truth. I had a wonderful experience. After a formation program that we had in our diocese for lay leaders, I happened to meet after a series of a weekend of sessions. After that, I met one lady who has been very active in her parish, and she was effusive. She said, "Bishop, I attended this lay leaders seminars coming from the diocese, and how did you find it?" He said, "Bishop, I prayed to the Spirit to make me open, because at first I said, I've been through a lot of formation sessions already. Is there anything new that I could learn?" No, that's spiritual pride. But she had the decency and the common sense to pray to the Spirit, and the Spirit opened her heart. And she said, from session to session, it was like an experience of the risen Lord coming to her, talking with her, visiting her, entering her heart. And she said, after finishing the sessions, she was a changed person. She could not identify the source of her renewed missionary zeal. The way she described it is, "I am overflowing with love. I just want to be sent anywhere to proclaim Jesus." This is it. Coming from the heart, internalized, where the veneration of the Lord happens, and there mission arises. The word has been exposed. Let us now fulfill it.